on the last chairs. Can you please come on the front chairs? We will start with the Ganesh Vandana. I would request Jigar sir to come on the stage.
Siquila isso.
Kindly please stand up. वक्रतुंड वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. Kindly please be seated, and from today onwards may your health be completely okay. That is what I would try to pray to Ganesha. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
So today's event is Valuation as Practice Area and Opportunities in Transformative Era, which is keynote speaker is the Dr. R.K. Patel, and the event is organized by the Society of Power Engineers Baroda chapter in association with the Institution of Engineers India and Vadodara local center. I would request Vasudev Harani sir to facilitate our keynote speaker R.K. Patel sir with bouquet. I would request Satish Trivedi sir to honor with bouquet the chairman of Institution of Engineers Satish Joshi sir. I would request Satish Trivedi sir to honor with a memento Dr. R.K. Patel sir, who is the keynote speaker. And the last, I would request Vasudev sir to honor Keyur sir, who is the member of Institution of Engineers. Thank you so much, Dr. Hireni Mankuri ma'am, who is the Honorable Secretary of Institution of Engineers, Dr. Satish Joshi sir, who is the Chairman, Vasudev Harani sir, who is the Secretary of Society of Power Engineers, as well as SP Trivedi sir, who is the member of Society of Power Engineers, Baroda chapter. So about our Dr. R.K. Patel sir, who is the keynote speaker. It is my honor to introduce our distinguished guest today, who is Dr. R.K. Patel. Dr. Patel is a highly accomplished professional with a remarkable career spanning over 4 decades. He holds multiple degrees like Bachelor of Engineering as well as Masters in Mechanical and Thermal Sciences, a Masters in Real Estate Valuation, and he is also a cost accountant, certified energy auditor, insolvency professional, and social auditor. He began his career with 17 years of industrial experience, serving as assistant director at the Gujarat Energy Development Agency, where he worked extensively on renewable energy projects, and as general manager at Jyoti Limited, Vadodara, contributing to the growth of wind energy in India. For the past 28 years, Dr. Patel has been practicing as a valuer, insurance surveyor, chartered engineer, and cost and management accountant. He is empaneled with several leading banks, financial institutions, PSUs, and insurance companies. He also served as a statutory cost auditor for reputed organizations such as MGVCL, GACL, GSPL, GNFC, NFL, and many others. Beyond his practice, Dr. Patel is a respected faculty and professor at prestigious institutions like MS University of Baroda, Annamalai University, and Techno India University, guiding the next generation of professionals. With over 70 research papers published and presented at national and international conferences, Dr. Patel is a prolific contributor to the field of valuation, costing, finance, and energy. His excellence has been recognized with multiple gold, silver, and bronze medals from the Institution of Valuers for his contributions to professional literature. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a visionary professional, a mentor, and a highly respected academician, Dr. R.K. Patel.
I'll request Dr. Joshi to welcome the guest and start the innovation function. Yeah.
So it's a formality, and there is no need. On the behalf of Institution of Engineers and Society of Power Engineers, Vadodara chapters, I welcome you all for this lecture on valuation as a practice area and opportunity in transformative era. Thank you very much.
I invite Dr. R.K. Patel to deliver the word of speech.
Good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
First of all, let me thank the Institution of Engineers and Society of Power Engineers for giving me a chance to talk this August gathering on the area which I have chosen as a practice. I am also thankful to this lady who has given very nice introduction, very brief, and I feel proud that such a nice introduction has been given. I see many faces to whom I know since years. If I forget them, then it will be my mistake. My professor, Dr. Mayavanshi, Professor Mayavanshi. Then my friends, Mr. R.V. Vasavda, who is SE, retired. Mr. R.M. Panchal, Chief Engineer from GSEC. So all these people I know. My friends from JEDA, Mr. U.K. Pandya, Mr. Hitesh. My friends from Valuers Institution, Chairman K.V. Shah, Secretary Harish Tehelramani, and my surveyor friends, Unit Head Mr. Vikram and Manish. So today is a different topic, maybe for engineers. Of course, engineers are much better than any other professions. That is what I would say. And engineers can do anything. But our Keur Bhai was always telling me that come to us and tell the people what they can do in valuations. Good. So otherwise I can take caller by? No problem. Yeah. Okay, good. So, how many of you think that they wanted to become valuer? Of course, all of you are good engineers. But anybody aspired for become a valuer? And they are valuers or not? How many are valuers? Not all are valuers. Yeah. Earlier, chartered accountant engineers used to do valuations. Before 1958, engineers used to do valuation. Today also engineers are doing valuations under custom laws. And chartered engineers are recognized as valuers under Customs Act. In Customs Act, there is no term like valuer. Whenever they need any kind of valuation where there is a non-tariff item, they always prefer and call the chartered engineers. And there is a provision in the Act, sir. Over a period, valuation has been emerged as a profession. As a profession, like engineering profession. And center, engineers have remained in center. So those who have been aspiring to become valuers, by the end of my speech, I am sure they will become valuers. And if at all, they might have crossed their age, definitely think to make others, means their next generation, to become valuers, in addition to the existing profession, okay? Because valuation is a different kind of profession which has been emerged, and there is a great potential over the time. So to keeping this in mind, I have organized my talk. Good. So, I will take you to the journey of valuation profession. Starting from history of valuations profession, and most of you will be interested in how to become the valuer. Available opportunities, why you should become the valuer, and avail the opportunity and grow in wealth as well as your image in the society, okay, as a different profession. There are various statutes wherein you can become the valuer, and you have the opportunities. Following valuation standards, just like our ISI, there are valuation standards internationally, and these valuation standards are being followed by all the valuers of any kind of assets. Challenges to valuers, of course, things do not come easily. They always come with challenges. So I will explain the challenges so that you can hello, yes. So, and then now this is the transformative area. So, valuation is going to be changed in next coming years. So that also I will see, so that whenever somebody enters into the profession, he knows that what are the difficulties he is going to face and what are the new avenues going to be open. Good. Let us talk of history of valuation profession. As I said, before 1958, engineers used to do the valuations. And still they are doing, of course. But phases have changed. Enacting of Wealth Tax Act 1958, the registration of valuers, called as the registered valuers, and people synonymously write government registered valuers. So whenever you read government registered valuer, he is registered under Wealth Tax Act 1958. When Wealth Tax Act 1958 was enacted, the main objective was to levy the wealth tax by the revenue department. And wealth tax and income tax go together. So these registered valuers under Wealth Tax Act, they were being used by the wealth tax and income tax. At that time, there was no other term of valuer, only registered valuer under Wealth Tax. And they have various classes of assets for which registered valuers are being registered. Immovable properties, naturally civil engineers, architects. Plant and machinery, naturally electrical, mechanical engineers. Agriculture land, like BSc agriculture, or maybe retired person from revenue department with certain experience. Similarly, they have jewelries also. So naturally jewelers would qualify because there is no other qualification to become jewelers. So naturally jewelers in profession or in business, they were made the valuers. Share stocks, chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries. By that time, 1958, all the three institutions were able. So they were recognized to become valuers of financial assets, share stocks, business assets, inventories, and so on. So there are almost 8-9 classes of assets for which valuers are registered. So this wealth tax this registered valuer was a good designation for the persons who registered and they were recognized in the society as a valuers. And since there was no other institution to register them, and there was no other qualifying criteria for them, there was no formal qualifying criteria that somebody has to pass certain examination to become valuer and so on. Only thing based on 10 years of experience and with their 10 years good record, they might have resigned from the services, then only independent, and then they can get the registration. Today also the same rules are there. So anybody wants to become registered valuer under Wealth Tax Act, and why it should be registered? Because they are being used by the income tax authorities. They are being used, but then after there was nothing. So all the other institutions or any users of valuation services, they use the services of Wealth Tax registered valuers. That continued. Okay. And then mostly bankers. At that time, a lot of private banks were there. So they may or may not get the valuations. But they had a different system of granting the loan. But in 1968, one Dr. P.C. Goel, who returned from USA, and he dreamed that why not to have another institution of valuers, just like Institute of Engineers, to give the membership of that institution and they can practice as a valuer other than areas of Wealth Tax Act. And because banking by that time grown, and by 1972 you know that nationalization and all the banks were nationalized. So they were the great users of the banking industry. So 1968 institution set up by Dr. P.C. Goel. So that give the membership to the valuers having same qualifying criteria as per VAT Tax Act, the experience criteria at the same level, and they gave the approved valuers. So these approved valuers spreaded over, all over India, and they practiced valuation in banking industry. Until today, if you go for embezzlement with any bank, first line you will read that he should be a member of Institute of Valuers or any other similar organization. So this is the oldest, and today Institute of Valuers has almost 35,000 members. 35,000 members. And they are practicing in various fields, not only in the banking, but a lot of other industries as well. I will come later. International financial, since that 1968, there was nothing about the other valuation institution or any government body who registered the valuers. Even GEV and all the PSUs, they use the valuers registered either in Tax Act or member of Institute of Valuers. International Financial Reporting Standard was to be adopted in 2011, wherein there was a provision that the balance sheet and profit and loss accounts will not be reported on historical cost, but they will be reported on fair value, that is a fair market. So this international financial reporting was to be adopted in 2011, and that was the international financing. There were almost 180 countries who were members of this international financial accounting body, and they were agreed to follow the international financial reporting standards. Somehow in India, it was not adopted. Maybe because of some political reasons, or maybe because of some institutions they would not like these standards to come in. I don't want to name them. But this IFRS did not come till 2016. And in 2016, one day Finance Ministry said that the companies having turnover more than 500 crores have to compulsorily adopt the IFRS. But this IFRS did not come by name in our country, but all the Indian accounting standards were converged to IFRS, and Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, they published and notified by Ministry of Finance to be adopted these Indian accounting standards. I will come to later that Indian accounting standards, though it's a field of chartered accountants, there are a lot of valuation revenues for making use. So, in between Companies Act 2013 came, repealing 1956 Companies Act, and therein there was a special chapter of registered valuers under Companies Act. And these Companies Act registered valuers, they are different than VAT Tax Act. And it was a requirement of corporate world to adopt these international financial reporting standards. So they were badly needing the valuers registered under the Companies Act. Because in the Companies Act there was a provision that any valuation under the Companies Act is required to be done, then it will be done by registered valuer under the Companies Act. So 2013 the chapter was there, but till 2017 again there was no registration of under Companies Act. There were no rules published. But in between insolvency and bankruptcy code came in, and this insolvency and bankruptcy code, they say that valuations under this insolvency and bankruptcy code, it's a that legal procedure, NCLT and all these things. So, and alternate day you must be reading in the news that resolution plan has been approved, and that particular bank has had a haircut of 600 crore, 500 crore, and so on. And best example, the Camrock, okay, its valuation was almost 1600 crore, and Reliance purchased it around 1300 crore or 1100 crore. Okay, it's the base example. And coincidentally, myself and Harish were valuers also. Anyway, that's a different story. But this is what it happens, and that valuations were to be done by registered valuers under the Companies Act. So it was a compulsion by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to publish immediately the valuation rules 2017, wherein the registration valuation started, and it was Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India what made the authority to register the registered valuers after 50 hours of course and examination. Examination is very tough, but I don't think no engineer can pass it. He will definitely pass it. Okay. So, but of course, one has to do the systematic study of accounting, finance also, along with engineering, and then valuation standards and all these things. And even they have to study the company act, certain provisions, certain accounting standards. But it is very simple. Studying is simple. Passing, don't come down. So, IBI designated an authority, and the valuation rules 2017 came in, and today there are only 4,500 valuers registered under the Companies Act, and some of the valuers have passed, but they don't know the corporate world, they don't know the accounting standards, and if you see, effectively there could be hardly 1,500 valuers practicing under the Companies Act. Okay, and slowly what happened, that all the corporate worlds, they have started demanding that valuation will be done by the registered valuer under the Companies Act. And in the Companies Act also there is a provision that whenever there is a valuer's appointment, it will be appointed by the Committee of Creditors. And in the absence of Committee of Creditors, he will be appointed by Board of Directors. Such a great importance was given, and if you refer the Companies Act 2013, wherein there is a definition of expert. Who is expert? An expert is a valuer, engineer, chartered accountant, cost accountant, or anybody, and chartered engineer of course, and anybody who pretends to be the expert in his area will be treated as an expert. Very simple. Okay? So first time in 2013 Act, valuer has been recognized as a separate expert. I think this is the great thing we felt at that time. Okay, because we were already in practice. Yeah? So 2013 Act boosted up the value of valuers. So this is what the history is. So anybody can become the valuer, of course. So how to become valuer now coming to? By that time I would have already said. Registration under the VAT Tax Act, you should have 10 years of record. After retirement also you can join. Form N is to be filled up, very simple. Pay the fee of 1,000 rupees and then submit your application at the basement of this income tax department. Of course, they will time because they will take time. You know the income tax department. Okay, but with good follow-up, you can get it. Okay, only thing you have to file the 10 years your returns. Okay, your independence after the resignation or after retirement. So this is very simple process, no examination, nothing, and nobody will interview also. Okay? Only thing your appraisal officer, where you are filing the income tax return, he will process and he will send to Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, and the Chief Commissioner only can register them. Okay? Such a like membership as a valuer for Ministers of Valuers, this is the shortest route I can show you. Okay? Become the member of Institute of Valuer, and you are given the approved valuer, which is recognized in the banking industry, at the same time the industry where there is no compulsion of Company Act 2013, you can practice. Okay? And wherever there is a housing loan or whatever it may be. Registration as a valuer under Companies Act, as I said, IBPI is the authority, 50 hours course. There are registered valuer organizations also. They are imparting the 50 hours training and then give the certificate that you have completed the course, that allows you to appear for the examination. Examination is also very 120 minutes, 100 questions, on Banega Karupati, and 60 marks passing, and negative wrong answer, 25% negative marking. Very simple. Okay? So out of 100 questions, if you have attended 80 questions correct, you are passed. Okay? So, and registration as a valuer with any other professional body. Okay? Whoever it is, just like RICS, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyor. But why to go there? When we have good IBBI here. And today, IBBI or Company Act registered valuers are recognized all over the world at par with IRCs. So that is the great thing our country has done. So why don't you take this opportunity and become the valuer even after retirement? Nothing wrong in that. Okay, because we are retiring at 58. What the point? ગુજરાતી એટલા જલ્દી ગેડા થાય એમ નથી. બરાબર? Good. Now, why after becoming valuer? પૈસા તો કમાવા પડશે. પ્રોફેસર કોઈ મફતમાં નથી હોતું. બરાબર? અને મફતના પ્રોફેસર હોય તો એની વેલ્યુ ના. બરાબર? પૈસા તો કમાવા જ પડે. Opportunity registered under Wealth Tax Act. As I already said, for capital gain tax, for income tax, for income disclosure schemes, from time to time government is income tax department is giving income disclosure scheme, okay, and give concession in that taxation or penalty or something for their valuation is to be done by registered valuers under the Wealth Tax Act, because income tax is naturally connected to the Wealth Tax. Black money, undisclosed foreign enemy properties, I think here also they notify that okay, company act registered Wealth Tax Act registered valuers. Stamp duty. If at all there is a stamp duty dispute, what is asking for valuations, and that is to be done by government registered valuer, that is the registered under Wealth Tax. Transfer pricing. Transfer pricing where there are transactions other than cash. Okay, means just like a barter system. So there they need the valuation, because your transfer pricing is a very big subject where there is a transaction with the associated entity. Okay, where you have control over another entity to whom you are transferring the assets. Okay, like holding company transferring assets to subsidiary, or subsidiary is sending back to holding or vice versa. Banking sector. Loans, NPAs, liquidations, Sarfasi Act. Where banking creditors have a great power to seize the property and auction it without intervention of the court. That is the Sarfasi Act. When you have given the property as a security and if you have defaulted, they can immediately auction it out and then recover that. So mortgage, debt restructuring. In the banking system, sometimes debt restructuring going on. The debt paper is, of course, over a period, company act registered valuers have entered. Okay. Naturally, that is going to happen because they think, industry think, that these are well trained, well examined, well regulated. It's a 3-tier regulation system. Like one is the authority is the IBA, and then there are in between there is a registered valuer organizations who will make the members, and they will monitor, take disciplinary action, they will resolve the grievances and so many things. These are the registered valuer organizations. There are almost 10 registered valuers organizations, wherein IOV, that is Registered Valuers Foundation, is the first one to get registered and is the largest today. Out of 4,500 members, they have 3,200 members. This is what the IOV is. Okay, that's why I am saying that you can become. And unfortunately, I am vice president of that institute. Coming to banking industry, these are the traditional valuations: assets, land, building, plant and machinery. There are universally 3 methods of any class of asset of anything you value. There are asset approach, market approach, and income approach. Market approach is always preferred because that gives the immediate exit. Okay. Cost approach, that is the asset approach. It is based on the past. You derive the value today. Income is the future based on which you derive the value today. So it's a junction. Value is a junction of past, today, and tomorrow. Okay. And if you have and all the 3 methods are applicable, and if you have done perfect valuation, theoretically, all the 3 values should be identical. But that never happens. And that is where the valuer comes in practice. Okay? Well, there is always a discrepancy. Because see, asset cost approach, that the asset or cost approach, is based on the past. What has happened in past. But over a period, you know that economic transition have taken place, lot of changes have taken place, lot of rules, regulations have changed. So deriving from the past, that is the cost, to the present value, lot of distortions. Market today is preferred because this item has a value, it can be determined today itself and then exchange today itself. Okay, so that is the value. And then income. Income means futuristic, which you have not seen. So you will go with certain assumptions. Okay, I will become an engineer and I will have a very good post in the nearing industry, and then over 10 years I will become production manager, and then after 20 years I will become MD of that company. That is the future, no? But over a future, things may change. Okay, whatever you assume, that does not happen. Okay, and sometimes you have assumed something and you get great thing. That also happens. So it is always uncertainty. That's why the valuation. Okay, cost is the fact. Price is not necessarily value because it's the policy determined by the seller, and value is an opinion. Okay, got the point? Cost may or may not be value. Price may or may not be value. Then what is the value? Value is in the eyes of the beholder. Okay? For some items, for me value may be 100 rupees. For pure man, it has 50 rupees. For our Harish bhai, it may be 200 rupees. Why? Why so? Because he knows the best use of that asset, highest and least use. That philosophy comes. So value is always an opinion, but a good valuer will derive the best value at which somebody can make the transaction. And you must have also asked yourself that okay, I have to sell out the house. I have to sell out the house. Then you will ask few people. First of all, you will ask your nearest friend. अरे यार मैं घर बेचवा मांगू છું कितना रुपया में? Yes or no? Then you go to brokers. Then you go to prospective buyers. And ultimately you feel that okay, if I get 50 to 55 lakhs, it's okay. Got the point? And lastly, you may come across, okay, I waited for 1 year. If somebody gives 28 lakhs, it's okay, and deal is final. That is what it happens, okay? That is what. That is where valuer comes in picture and say that for this property, for the given location, for the given conditions, for the given quality, and under given circumstances, you can get this value and you should be satisfied with that. So for your satisfaction also, you have to get the valuation. Got the point? This is the simplest case I have been. That happens to the big industries also. In merger acquisitions and not many takeovers, this is what happens. So same principle goes there. And why we cannot become the valuer? We can. आता हम फार्मर के पास फार्मर છો ને તમાકુ પકવી છે કે નહીં નથી પકવી કપાસ
લોકોને મારવા નથી સાહેબ.
હા તો તમે નહીં પહેલા તમાકુનો ધંધો બધાને ખબર હશે કે ખેડૂતે તમાકુ બનાવી અને એના એમાં સ્ટોર કરી then one day વેપારી આવે છે વેપારી આવીને બધા તમાકુના સંપર્ક છે લે છે લઈને મૂકી દે બધા આપણે બધા બેઠા પછી મારા જેવો એક એક્સપર્ટ શોધી કાઢે જે ખૂણામાં બેઠો હોય ધોતિયું પહેરીને શું ધોતિયું પહેરીને બેઠો પછી એને કહે કે તું આમાંથી કહી દે કે આનો કેટલો ભાવ અપાય બરાબર એટલે એ શું કરે ખબર છે પાના લે ફૂકે હરીશભાઈની તમાકુ કેવુરભાઈની તમાકુ કેતનભાઈની તમાકુ બરાબર ભાવ કેવી રીતે ખબર છે વેપારીને રૂમાલ ઢાંકી અને આમ આમ કરીને કંઈક સિગ્નલ હોય કે આ 100 રૂપિયા ક્વિન્ટલ લેવાય 200 રૂપિયા ક્વિન્ટલ યસ કરો એટલે પછી કહેશે કે હરીશભાઈ તમારી તમાકુનો આટલા ભાવ આપીશ કેવુરભાઈ તમારી તમાકુનો આટલા ભાવ આપીશ બરાબર છે કેવુરભાઈને ખબર હોય કે હરીશભાઈ કરતા ક્વોલિટી થોડી લોઅર છે ભલે આટલા રૂપિયા મળ્યા તો સારું બરાબર હુ ઇઝ ધ એક્સપર્ટ મારા જેવો ધોતી પહેરીને બેઠો હોય હે હી ઇઝ ધ વેલ્યુઅર યસ ઓર નો नदी, कितन you are witness, बराबर नदी सिगरेट पीती, तो जो मारा जो वैल्यूअर થઈ શકતો હોય તો જે સિગરેટ પીતો હોય કે બીડી પીતો હોય થઈ જાય. Okay, now banking industry માં this is just the valuation of sales or buy, purchase or sale કે પછી mortgage કરવાનું હોય કે loan લેવાની હોય, બરાબર. એના સિવાય પણ they are using the valuers in different services. These are different advanced services, and nowadays this is highly practiced where our engineering expertise come into picture, because we have spent lot many years in power sector, petrochemical sector, engineering sector. We are the best people to do the valuations of cost making, because before sanctioning the project or any assets to be purchased, they want that normally tendency is that borrower will go with the higher estimation, okay, so that એના પોતાના પૈસા ઓછા કાઢવા પડે. 70% પેલો આપતો હોય તો 70%માં આપણા 100% થઈ જતા હોય તો નથી લાઈ દે, સેટિંગ કરી દે પેલા જોડે. So they are getting the cost weighting done. So project is a process in finance can be the process by which the different cost estimates supported by the offers, contracts, quotations are examined for their feasibility or risk protection. Okay, so here the valuer, this valuer come in picture, and your engineering expertise come in picture, because you know the machine, and then you can give the cost weighting whether this cost is proper or not. Based on the bank will decide how much loan to be granted. Okay, checking references of credentials of suppliers. Yes, you are the best people. ABB નું machine સારું છે કે Siemens નું સારું છે આપણે કહી શકીએ. અરે not they are good machines at relevant time, but for this present use મારી ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીમાં આ ક્યાં ફિટ થાય છે, that is more important. So that engineering computer, verifying quantities required for the project, finding variances in cost estimates of the proposer and cost estimate. Okay, cost weighting. This is where you can play the role in cost weighting. Yes. So this is the area nowadays highly practiced. Harish, બરાબર ને? વેલ્યુએશન કરતા સારી ફી મળે ને. ગુડ. ટેકનો ઇકોનોમિક બાયોલોજી સ્ટડીઝ, થોડું ઘણું ફાઇનાન્સ શીખી લઈએ એન્જિનિયરો, તો આપણે ટેકનો ઇકોનોમિક બાયોલોજી સ્ટડીઝ કરીએ કે whether technically this project is viable or not, economically viable or not, whether it is complying with the proper regulations or not, because every industry has a regulation. Like our industry has their own regulations of CERC and GERC and CEA and not many authorities there. And then if you go to petrochemical industry, PNERB has a lot of telecommunication industry. So the various industries have their own regulations wherein they have to perform. So if you have read these regulations and requirements under that, I think you can do the technical evaluations. And then economic evaluations, like financially it will be cost is proper or not, whether projections. If I have a 5 megawatt generator and I project high energy generation, it will be questioned. It depends on the raw material supply also. If I today project gas turbines, sir, Patel sir, if I project today gas turbines with 75% utilization, people will say that he is mad. Am I right or not? Because availability of gas is little poor nowadays. So this is what one has to study the market also, okay, and the economic factors. So this is what they highly use, and they are handsomely paid. Okay, DB studies is a specialized area, and we after so many years of experience, we have essentially specialized in that industry at whatever level you have worked. Not necessarily that you have worked at the top. Everything is here. Good. Areas covered, as I said, activity, install capacity. If you put now, service industry is also very greatly explored. Okay, their economic analysis is altogether different. So this service industry also you can cover not only manufacturing industry. You have to analyze the background of the company, promoters, who are the promoters, what are their success stories, what are their future stories. Product services you can study, process and technical know-how, marketing arrangement, statutory requirements, cost of project and means of finance, appraisal of land building, plant and machinery, raw material. Sometimes no, they go for only plant and machinery because they have only got the land, abandoned land. So they are trying to expand. So in that case also you can study their existing setup and then what is the expansion requirement. For some production probability, you can work out working capital requirement, you can work out SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threats. And then you analyze that what are the risk factors under which this industry is going to work. And then you can comment, conclude and recommend, and then your report is accepted, you get hands on this. Yes. Learners independent engineer, I think this is the greatest area of technical expertise. Okay? Because when project is sanctioned, it lasts for 3 to 5 years before commissioning. And progressively bank is or financial institution releasing money based on the lender's engineer's report. He gives the technical progress and financial progress to the bank and says that yes, this much work physically has been done, this much work has been financially done, this much has been expended by the borrower, and this is what you can grant. Okay. So in the starting, the complete project cost is analyzed and slowly, how much progress has taken place. I think this is also handsomely being paid. Okay. And they are invariably appoint lenders engineers for large solar projects, large power plants. So that's a I agreed for your SICA project, 500 megawatt, lenders engineers work. And then Duaran project also. So this is what I'm trying to see that you have a lot of expertise, and why don't you explore? If you can't, ask next generation to go for that. Okay? And you don't have to leave your engineering profession. Let the engineering be there. The engineering knowledge know what it is. Okay? Because engineer is always an intelligent. As I said, that techno-economic valuation studies, and then there you have to study the regulations also. Engineer जरा finance सीखी जाए तो बदमाश नहीं है, बराबर? अरे जो एमा थोड़ा घणो law सीखी जाए, तो महाबदमाश नहीं है. अरे मारा जीवाने पाची त्रणय वस्तुनी practice करवानी मारे. As insolvency professional law, and past accountant, number of companies का cost audit, finance जानते हो, कुछ जानते हो, बराबर? Engineering तो जानते हो, यानी engineer में limitation खबर है, finance वाला limitation खबर है, और lawyer की पर limitations खबर है, बराबर? So if you get the chance, to practice all three together, he becomes Don in his area, of course. I will positive terms about you, negative terms only. Okay, so to challenge him is very difficult.
Sir, what about the projects? You are talking about new projects, no? What
New
about
projects, yes.
what about the units which are not in operation in petrochemical or in a?
એના માટે એ proposal મૂકે ને revival. તે વખતે
Sir, not revival. See, if it is, I am talking about UDEX plant. Okay, UDEX is a એક જમાનામાં ગુજરાત રિફાઇનરીનું બધાનું પગાર પૂરું કરતું હતું. અત્યારે પ્લાન્ટ ટોટલી બંધ થઈ ગયો છે, એના ઇક્વિપમેન્ટ્સ બી બધા બંધ થઈ ગયા છે. તો વોટ ઇટ ઇઝ કમ્પ્લીટલી they are getting it is like it is a scrap for the ગુજરાત
સ્ક્રેપ
રિફાઇનરી.
વેલ્યુ આપી દેવાની વાત પૂરી કરતા હોય સાફ કરતા કરો.
સાહેબ એ સ્ક્રેપ વેલ્યુ આપે કોણ સાહેબ, અને એ કેટલા વર્ષોથી પડ્યું
તમે
છે?
વેલ્યુઅર છો ને સાહેબ, આપી શકો, કેમ ના આપી શકો? આજે આ જવા જેડાને કોણ છે? ઇધર તમારા બિંદુનો કાઢવાની કાઢી નાખી કે 25 માં આપણે ઉભી કરી દીધી. હજુ ઘણા બધા બાકી છે ને, એ બધા હું વેલ્યુએશન કરું છું આજની તારીખમાં, અને આ મારી રિપોર્ટ જશે. ઓકે, એટલે જે પતી ગયું ને એટલે પતી જવા દો, બરાબર? હા, રિવાઇવ કરી શકતા હોય તો why not to do that? Okay, somebody should be ready to finance it, somebody has the will to revive it. Okay, વિન્ડમિલમાં આપણે ઘણો ટ્રાય કર્યો, ક્યાં રિવાઇવ કરી શક્યા? We could not do, because at that time 55 kilowatt machine was the biggest thing. Today we have reached to 2.5 megawatt plus, and we are talking about 5 megawatt. Yeah? That is what I am saying. Yes, and I am coming to later how the things are moving, and that is what we valuers are in trade. We have to change our methodologies and techniques to value those things. I am coming later. Yes, but can provided all, then you have to see the feasibility whether spares are available or not. Masala, क्या किया? चले, याद चल तब good. હવે પતી ગયું એ હવે ઘણા બધા છે ને ડબલ પોલ ડીપી સ્ટ્રક્ચર એમને જ પડ્યા છે. કોણ યુઝ કરે છે આને બતાવો? એમને છોડી દીધા છે. યસ ઓર નો? ગુડ. Due diligence consultants, this is where you can do the technical due diligence. That is the very depth analysis of a particular project, as you say, due diligence. When I do the due diligence and find that it is not worth reviving it, better it is dead. Okay? Scrap it out. But scrap valuation is also a technique, of course. Okay? It's also a technique. But that we are not discussing here, that how to value scraps and all these things. Financial due diligence, that is another area. Of course, if you have some people must be MBA in finance and all these things, they can also, and then they can easily be said to be badmas. Legal due diligence, three together, Mahabadmas. Okay. Construction monitoring and project completion verification, these are practicing areas. Monitoring during operation period through the term of loan, if you can do due diligence completely, you are done. Okay. Good. So this is what the area where one can work on. So another is the Indian Banks Association have instituted on specialized monitoring agencies based on certain qualifying criteria and turnover criteria and experience and all these things. So these are the various areas wherein they can work. Okay. Once you are registered as a specialized monitoring agency with your team, and they are also paying very handsomely. Okay. Very handsomely. And I'll give you these presentations, sir. Don't worry. Okay. Knowledge is nobody's property. Good. Opportunity of registered valuers under Companies Act, IGC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, Corporate Insolvency Resolution Proceedings. The resolution professional has to appoint 6 valuers to each in 3 classes: land building, plant and machinery, and financial assets. Such a great opportunity. Similarly, in the liquidation proceedings, another again, when CIP resolution plan has not been approved, company goes for liquidation, and in liquidation also again he has to appoint the 6 valuers. Fees are coming after 1 year, but nice. Okay, doesn't matter. That much investment we have to do. Correct? Good. Consultant to prepare the liquidation estate. Yes. Once the resolution professional takes over the properties by the NCLT order, NCLT is the high court. Okay. Special for companies. So National Company Law Tribunal, and above that NCALT, that is Appellate Tribunal. So this, by order of that, a resolution professional, that is an insolvency professional, is appointed as a resolution professional, and he immediately within 7 days he has to appoint the 6 valuers. He doesn't have time. Okay, so he will go that he knows the cure by. Okay, cure by jara aanu jojo. Cure by aaphi is about 10 lakh rupees. He doesn't have time. He has to appoint. Otherwise, he will get a notice from IBBA. Why it is delayed? Consulting valuation as a resolution application. Now they see once the valuation has been done, then insolvency professional will invite the applications from the people who can resolve this and take over this as a going concern. As a going concern. If it is liquidation, that's that. Okay, then you have to dismantle and then take it away and realize whatever you can. So this is what the resolution. So you can help as a resolution plan also. In resolution plan also. So suppose somebody is like just now I gave the example Reliance and Cameron. Okay, so Reliance must have done resolution plan prepared by someone. Okay, and might have paid handsome fees. Then he has to revive this now, and that's why bank was to be satisfied with 800 crore rupees. They got 1300 crore rupees. That is what the value in the holders finds. But valuers have a good great scope for that. Ultimately, they need the signature of valuers. What the point? Yes or no? You might have seen a lot of income tax practitioners, they are not chartered accountants. But they prepare everything for you, and lastly they will go to a chartered accountant for signature, and that fellow will just check it and say that okay, 50% will represent. no? Technique बताओ ये business में. Valuation business, of course, you must be business people somewhere. So these are various acts, sections under Companies Act where they need the valuations. These valuations, of course, I don't want to take you to these jargons, but one or the other section, there are valuations of technical nature. So if I say the Company Act, people will think that engineers will say that this is none of our business. It is our business only. Only thing chartered accountants have taken over. So we have to take it back. Yes or no? Good. So these are various sections where valuations are required, and asset valuations like land, building, plant and machinery are built in there. Okay? Like valuation for capital gain under Companies Act. So these are then indirect transfer pricing. There is also the valuations. Okay? And then non-cash transactions, asset against assets. So there you need the valuation. RBI is also getting valuation for foreign direct investments and ODA. So this is where we have the areas, but we have not never entered into. Okay, we have not even looked into. It is where the valuations are right. Good. These are various sections. I am not SEBI. SEBI requires the valuation. They have notified that valuation is to be done by registered vendors under Companies Act. Otherwise, earlier, chartered accountants used to do the valuations with 10 years of experience or merchant bankers. Today, registered valuers have entered into it. And if at all the merchant bankers are doing the valuation, where there is a land building and plant analysis is to be done by the registered valuer under Companies Act only. And they have to take support of that. So people will automatically come to you. Correct? So, financial reporting. As I said that international financial reporting standards have not come in by name, but Indian accounting standards have been emerged and notified since 2016 by the Minister of Corporate Affairs, drafted by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and they are full of valuations like Indian accounting standards 16, property, plant and equipment. This is our area, engineers area. Investment properties, leasing properties, or if somebody has rented it out, we are the valuers. Okay, leases, we are the valuers. Financial reporting, hyper-economics, of course, that is hyper-inflationary techniques. But there also you are the best people to value the plant and machinery, okay? Hyper-inflationary. You may or may not get the job. And if at all you get the job, orders, you get very high value. And if you don't get, you are finished also. So there also technical people play the role. Impairment of assets. Impairment of assets are full of valuations. And our GEV companies, JETCO and GSEC, every 3 years they get the impairment test done, whether their values are not reduced below the book value. As he said, that his plant is completely closed since 5 years. In our technical term, it's impaired. Okay? Yeah? Handicap. So better step it out. It is, otherwise your company keep on writing losses every year, and your shareholders in AGM they will make noise, okay, and your directors will be facing the music. So impairment test is being done. Sir, your oil based power plant in Dubai, no? It was derated once by CEA. Am I right or not? From 120 megawatt to, there are 3 turbines or 4 turbines? 6. So, yeah? 6 turbines. So 120 to 80 megawatt, it was derated. Derated means you cannot run beyond that. Means your profitability is going to reduce. So it's an instance of impairment, and your chartered accountants, your auditors say that get the impairment done, impairment test done by the valuers. Yeah? And in 2015, that was the order, and then nobody had known the impairment valuations in the industry, okay? Because in 2004 only this impairment accounting standard came at that time, accounting standard, okay? And Mr. Ajay said, call me and said, can you do it? I said, I can write down in one line that there is no impairment loss. He said, no, we need valuation report. I said, okay, you pay me the fees. Otherwise I can write down and I will not charge any fee. And he got the valuation done. He ordered me. I got 4 lakhs rupees at that time. And then after submitting the report, he gave to auditors. It was discussed in board of directors. It's okay with you. And there was no impairment loss. Company was happy. And RTC called me. We were discussing in our directors and all these things. Why that fellow was saying that he can write in one line that there is no impairment loss? I said, yes. Then tell me how. I said, I can tell you. But don't tell outside. Otherwise you will ask 4 lakhs back. Or payment, you will not pay my payment. He said, no, payment is guaranteed, no. I said, see, this was the Russian technology. Heavy technology. Okay? If I take out all these assets, sir, your close fund, you take out the plant and do the weight of all the metals, it will fetch you more than what you originally spent 30 years back. This is what the value is. Okay? This is what the value is. Yes? So this is impairment of asset, investment properties, inventories, you can do the valuation because you are expert in cement, steel and all these things. These are inventories. Okay? So that can be done. Share-based payments, that is of course pattern of the area. Business combination, that is also pattern of business. Business combination, you have to value the assets of, yes? Got the point? GSPC Gas and Gujarat Gas Company Limited, they merged in 2014. They had to value their assets, like networks and DR stations and not many things, okay? And the settlement was, that is the exchange of share value was based on that because they are infrastructure projects. Got the point? Good. I was fortunate enough for that. Okay. And today again gas companies are merging. GSPL, Sabarmati Gas, these are merging to Gujarat Gas Limited. Good. I think it's an opportunity.
Cement factories are also Cement factories.
Cement factories, yes. Sir, add number of examples in valuations. Okay, valuation is everywhere. Only thing. Good. They prefer registered valuers because they prefer company like registered valuers for cost-making, project finance, under construction projects, technical evaluation of projects, techno-economic studies, independent engineers, enterprise valuation. Enterprise valuation is very easy. Okay, it is no longer domain of chartered accountants or cost accountants. Okay, remember that engineer can do anything. Registered valuers under Companies Act have a great opportunity. They can compete with the international peers at par, of course. Of course, they have to expand their knowledge. I will come later. To compete with international peers, export valuation services, customs and GST departments are employing valuers. Okay? They are employing now registered valuers. Chartered accountants are still doing, okay? But slowly, chartered engineer plus registered valuer under Companies Act will be important. Remember that. Okay? And one day, you know that notification may come and say that government can't do anything. Okay? They have to find that who are the potential people. That's all. And who can give the better services because government is working for betterment of the people. When they have the good people, when I have available good cardiologist, why I should go to the street doctor? Definitely. Got the point? That is what it happens. Public sectors are preferring company registered valuers and they have to appoint the value of few board of directors for audit. So it's a board of directors. Okay. So this is the level of registered valuers. So they will prefer the good valuers definitely. Okay. They have the choice. And they are ready to pay fees because they don't want to face the music in board of directors. There are 33% are independent directors. They are not the owners but fully responsible nowadays under the codes. So they will question a lot. So that is where they need the valuers who can face them and pretend and prove that his valuation is right. However, he may be doing that is wrong. valuation is correct and perfect in the world. No valuer can claim that he is the right person. Okay? So don't worry to that extent. But you cannot bluff also. Okay? Because you have to follow all the norms and regulations and guidances and standards. Okay? So nothing is free in this world. So just I give the value and then I will get away, forget it. Official liquidators, the Minister of Corporate Affairs, in high courts they are appointed. Okay? And the company is going under binding up. It will be auctioned by official liquidator appointed by Minister of Corporate Affairs in the High Court itself. And they are inviting applications for empanelment of valuers. And they prefer, of course, they have not started, and I should not say, but don't say outside, I am in the committee of selection of valuers in one of the high courts. Okay. Got the point? What is that? You have got it. So there we have fixed the norms last week. There we have fixed the norms. Yes, those who are registered with Companies Act and VAT Tax Act, they will be preferred because there are n number of applications, over 250 applications are there. Then I say to the official liquidator that how many valuers you need first, tell me. How many companies are under my kingdom? He said I need only 20 to 25. Then screening. Okay. So first criteria I said that who is registered in both. So reduce to half. Reduce to half. Then other. That is what is happening. So slowly, company are registered. Operationally of the statute and regulation, there also they need the validation. Okay. Now Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, actually when there is a foreign transaction of capital goods. Yes. SEBI, Real Estate Investment Trust, I think this is what now it has started in India. REITs. It is well established in Western countries, but in India also now they started. Okay, because large infrastructure projects of housing and all this, road projects are coming up. So they are REITs, Infrastructure Investment Trust, there are good regulations. Okay, there also there are regulations. Okay, I'm not going into details of that, but there is it's a very simple thing. 20 pages you read and you can practice in that. Okay, provided you have studied other aspects of basic aspects of it. Goods and service tax need the valuation. Okay, then land management policy of major ports, they have their own defined methodologies of valuations of port properties. Valuation of slum cells, wherein assets and liabilities are also being transferred. So this is what the valuations are. Valuation of disinvestments in public sector undertakings, when there is a disinvestment. Valuation of startup companies nowadays. Okay, we are the best people to analyze the technology which one young fellow has developed and which has a big potential in the and the government has nominated certain industries to analyze these startups and then finance them. Okay, and they are empanelling the values. Okay, like NRDC, KL, IOCL, UPCL, they all have these kind of systems and they are promoting the technologies. Okay. So this is what it is. Merger acquisition, takeover, management buyout, disinvestment in public sectors, insurance valuation. Insurance valuation is a very great area. So my insurance surveyor experience, and my friend will also agree, almost 90% industries are not properly handling their insurance portfolio, and very you can become the advisor to value and at what value they have to insure their properties, okay? Because they don't know that what to insure and how to insure and what risk to be covered and how to negotiate the premiums. This is what the area of valuation is. Valuation of production-linked incentive schemes. Now government has announced the production-linked incentive schemes wherein valuers come into picture to value the existing assets wherein he is going to expand the other assets for the export of those goods. To that extent, the foreign exchange is saved by the government, and they want the valuers to analyze these assets and whether they have sufficient investment to be eligible for PNS. These are the areas. No? Subsidy schemes by the government. There they need the valuations. where in first 50 pages are these general valuations. Okay, valuation framework, scope of work, basis of valuation, valuation approaches, data and inputs, valuation models, and documentation and reporting. This is what the general standard. And asset specific standards are business and business combination. Let us leave it for chartered accountants. Intangible assets. Let us leave it for chartered accountants. Non-financial liabilities that we can keep with chartered engineers. Inventories we can keep. Plant and equipment infrastructure we keep it with us. Real property interest we give with the engineer. Development property we keep for interest. And financial instruments let us leave it for chartered accountants. Clear? So this is where the only thing, no, you have to read 150, 100, 150 or 120 pages, okay? It's a one-day job for engineers, okay? Because we have already learned that overnight we do the study and pass the examination, and biology Masai will say that, okay, I will give him 90 marks. Sir, good. That is what we have done, no, overnight study. Yes. पास बपोर तो पिक्चर जो गया है काने एग्जाम है अपना टाइम में करता था नहीं जोशी सर बराबर है नटराज का पिक्चर दिवा गया उसको वाला जैसे करवाने का गुड challenges to valuers now nothing comes easy okay challenges calls for multidisciplinary management as I have explained okay single technical knowledge will not help you have to have multiple knowledge or working knowledge at least or the reasonable knowledge of accounting, finance, economics, law, regulations of that industry. Okay, nothing, nowhere it is written in one textbook. Okay, you have to apply your intuition and study that and develop your own models of valuation. Your valuation standards don't give models. They said you have to develop the model and test it and say that yes, this model will work for this valuation. This is what it is. When we do the valuation for plant and machinery and real estate, we develop the models, isn't it? So we develop the models. Either way, we develop the model for electric industry valuation, and that still works. That is what the valuation model is. High expectations by market the large number of stakeholders. Because their expectations are not increased. They know that this person is knowledgeable and expert in that, your responsibility increases and their expectations are equally increasing. Yes or no? હું અહીંયા ભંગા મારી દઉં પછી હવે એનો ટેસ્ટ કરીએ કરે કે નહીં કરે હું ભંગા મારી ગયો બને ને એવું થાય એક્સપેક્ટેશન વધી જાય એક્સપેક્ટેશન વધી જાય તો આપણને ખબર હોય કે આપણા સિવાય કોઈ કરવાનું જ નથી આપણા બી એક્સપેક્ટેશન વધી જાય વધી જાય બરાબર એટલે ઘણી વાર મારા મિત્રો વડે પૂછવા આવે કે આ ચાર્ટર્ડ એન્જિનિયર સર્ટિફિકેટ આપવાનું છે એટલે હું એને પૂછું કે મને એક્સપ્લેન તો કરે એટલે એને આપવાનું હોય એને એપ્રોચ કરે હોય તો હે મનીષ કેતન બરાબર એટલે હું કહું કે એને શા માટે જરૂર છે મને કે આ 2-4 લાઈન લખવાની વધારે નહીં હું 50,000 કે નહીં આપે કે કોઈ કામમાં જશે તો કોઈ નહીં આપે એને સર્ટિફિકેટ તું જ આપી શકીશ બરાબર ને એટલે એવું થાય peanut clauses under Companies Act. Now these are the very regulations. Nowadays regulations are very strong, and our customers are very they are exposed to a lot of things, and they know where he is to be pulled in. Okay, so litigation is another issue. So that is the lawyers are also facing it. It is not exception for that. Ecosystem keeps even courts are asking for, and under certain acts. If certain complaint is done, then valuers are called for explanations by the police departments, whether they are involved in fraud or not. So this is what the challenge is. Ecosystem keeps on watching, and there is a competition on this. Okay. So valuers must follow ethics, code of conduct, standards, guidelines, and regulations. I think they can get away. Good. Valuation and transforming area. Now this is where we are passing through a very transition period today. Okay, there is a transformative era. So let us see what transformative area we are passing through. Global economic shifts. You know, COVID has changed the valuation parameters. Brexit, that is Britain has exited from the European Union. That has changed the scenario of the European economy. Global growth, 23 to 25, very high growth. Chip storage. that chip shortage was there. And today it is also, I think today newspaper was saying something, that chips are in shortage. Suez blockage, that we all know, because of this war. OPEC and oil, they have started dictating now. They have united together, OPEC countries. Okay? Oil producing countries, of course. Oil producing and exporting countries, is what it does. Freight price, tremendously increased. Red Sea crisis, we all know, recent. And then Trump tariffs. Sorry, trade tariffs. Okay? Every day valuation changes. Yes or no? Some industry is booming and some industries are doing. Yes or no? हीरा उद्योग में तकलीफ पड़ी गई. आंसू बता. These are valuation changes. Okay? So this is where the valuation, keep in mind the current developments. This is what the global economic shifts are taking place since 2019 to 2025. Within 6 years, not completed of course, okay? Within 5.5 years, we have faced these are economic shifts and that has changed completely the news time. Global big projects are coming up. Now things are defined different way. It is no longer small house or small industry. People are thinking very big and new concepts are coming up. So with this new concept, we have to change our methodologies as well. Okay? And various standards are in place. But techniques, how you can handle this complicated scenario, that I am saying. NEOM project, NEOM city, you all of must have read, mostly real estate people. So this is coming up in Saudi Arabia. Okay, this city is 500 billion project cost, revised to 1 trillion, and then its expensive cost to be 10 trillion, was to complete by 2013, now expected to be by 2050. Target of 1 crore resident population. NEOM is double the size of Tokyo, 34 times New York, 17 times London, 44 times Mumbai, 122 times Hyderabad, and 150 times Ahmedabad, and I think 200 times, plus 200, 300 times Baroda. This is what the spatial development is taking place. Under progress, 100 billion span, and less than 1% completed. See, 10 These are such big projects are coming up, and how they are going to look at it. Okay? See, these are going to be the infrastructures. See, they are passing the river, they have developed the infrastructures in between, and reserve places at the top. And they are completely runs. Okay? This is the, I think, map, Google map, where it shows that where it is going to. It is going to connect, I think, coastal area, okay, mountains and upper valley. Okay, going to connect Jordan and then Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all these places. Okay. See, they are thinking of renewable energy and then ports, and then this is the lines, roads, okay, associated with the infrastructures. See, Gulf Railway project. This is another challenge. If I have to do the valuation of these railways, difficult job. We might not have thought of these kind of things. No, we are connecting to, see, connecting to Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, 2,177 kilometers. Okay, 250 billion capex, that is capital expenditure, may increase to by 20%. Speed up to 350 kilometers per hour. By 2045, handle 100 million tons of cargo. And then started in 2009, completion was to be in 2018, it is still revised to 2030. Okay, L&T is doing certain work. So this is where the things we have to think of. Okay, now the house is no longer an standalone house, it is connected to infrastructures. And nowadays concepts have started, and we all are gray hairs, okay, retired people. So now the builders have started shelter houses or what they say, senior citizens. I was reading yesterday's newspaper, okay, some Pune company, Marathis, they have started some projects in different areas of Vadodara. Yes or no? Different concept. What are their concepts? Medical resident doctor available, ambulance available, shopping is available. You have to call the manager and he will manage all your requirements. Yes or no? हो गया ना, बदल गया. Good. Now certain doctors, they have started investing into real estate for senior citizens. Yes or no? Because senior citizens are the people who are the great spenders of their money in health. So I am doctor, I have put up ambulance there, straight away cured by Thai. Okay? તો તમને ડિસ્કાઉન્ટ તો અમારે ઘર આપવામાં શું હતું? તમારા પૈસા મારી પાસે જ આવવાના છે. Yes or no? So things have started changing now. So this is the railway project now started passing through road. Okay? See. This is what these are what is it? Other is Nav Bharat mega development. Okay? Khavda. You know Khavda? Yes. Kutch, north of Kutch. And just 1 or 2 kilometers before Pakistan border. Okay? Sorry, not Khavda. This is Dharavi. Dharavi is to be redefined now. Okay? This is what the project is. So, presently Dharavi is like this. And what is like the envisioned? 10 lakhs population. Dharavi has 3 lakhs employments. $2 billion total annual turnover in Dharavi. $2 billion. Okay? One public toilet per 3,000 persons. Modi sahib kabhi the look kare thaki. 85% dry waste of Mumbai is recycled in Dharavi. Mumbai to 85% they are recycled. High literacy rate. Literacy rate is very high. Most religiously diverse region. That's the problem. But they are still united. Okay? About 8,000 businesses units plus 20,000 single room factories. Global brands have supply chain links like Zara, H&M, Armani, and so many. These are the brands working there. Sir, it's a big market. Global brands have, community justice still prevails. Community justice. They are in between settling everything. Hindu, Muslim, कोई प्रश्न नहीं. सामने पता नहीं चाहते. क्या settle થઈ ગયા? ત્યાં પછી માફિયા કામ કરતા હશે કે that is different thing. But something is there. Everything is silently going. No problem. And none is celebrating if one doesn't speak about and visit that. કોઈ celebrity visit ના કર્યો એવું ના બન્યું હોય અને એના વિશે ડિસ્કસ ના કર્યું એવું ના બન્યું હોય અધરવાઇઝ એને કોઈ સેલિબ્રિટી કહે નહીં અને if I don't discuss then મને કોઈ value ના. Okay, this is what the project location and all these things I am not going to discuss. 600 acres, 300 for redevelopment and rehabilitation, 100 acres for green space will be developed at the integrated township. Project cost 30,000 crore, may go to 33,000 crore. Multi-modal connectivity, all amenities within 5 to 10 minutes walk. Waterfront development, analysts expect value creation of 1 trillion in 10 years. So this is what the vision of that. Clear? Now the Khavda project, 30 gigawatt, largest in the world. Okay? Khavda world project, and already in progress. See that. Touch Khavda, just 1 or 2 kilometers from Pakistan border. And then these are the world's biggest renewable energy projects. Khavda, 30 gigawatt, $20 billion costing, 180,000 acres and expected to be completed by 2030. Okay? Gansu, China, 20 megawatt. Badla Solar, Rajasthan, 25 gigawatt. Al Maktoum Solar, that is in Saudi Arabia, 5 gigawatt. And Jingqing Solar, in China, 5 gigawatt. Okay? So we are going to be the largest by 2023 in terms of green Okay. Khavda, 30 gigawatt, solar, wind, everything will be there. Now, this will change the valuation parameters. If I have to do the property valuations in that part, I have to think of all surrounding infrastructures and how they are contributing to the value of that asset under valuation. Change. Okay. Less than 1 kilometer, close to India-Pakistan border, on 1 acre and all these things. This I have discussed in a lot of green projects, carbon emission and all these things. And then this is what the solar project, solar thermal, which is under progress. This is real picture. That this is the solar projects come up. Only 5 gigawatt has been commissioned. Windmill also. Good. Now economic shifts and way forward. હવે આપણે આગળ કેવી રીતે જેવું આપણું કરે પછી બરાબર ખાલી પછી જોવા જઈને પુસ્તક ન હોય આપણે તે ધંધો જ કરવાનો જો ગુજરાતી આગળ જોવા માટે તો બધાય જાય છે પણ જોતા જોતા ધંધો બી કરી લઈએ બરાબર ગુડ સો કમિંગ ટુ top 10 global economic shifts, let us keep in mind. This is where my finance comes into picture. Inflation, global inflation 4%, developed markets 1 to 4%, sub-Saharan Africa highest inflation, and Asia is lower at this stage. Okay, we are not inflationary now. Interest rates lower and steady. Expect Venezuela and Brazil. Everywhere interest rates have been stabilized. Okay, in our country also you might have seen the interest rates in last 10 years. They have not increased too much. Okay? Thanks to government or whatever you say, economic things are under control. Supply chain, deglobalization, deinternationalization, intermediation, etc. Okay? Earlier we were talking about globalization. Now we are coming back to deglobalization. Global GDP lower at 3.2%, lower or stagnant for most. ESG compliance is now established. Okay, environmental, social, and corporate governance. Okay, these compliances have increased, and most of the corporate bodies have to follow this ESG. And how this ESG is factored into the valuation that comes in. Because the value of the company increases if they have good ESG compliance. And the companies who have not good ESG compliances, their valuation goes down. Okay, this is what the social factor has come. Climate change, green building, trade tariff, Trump foreign tariff, and global tax regime. Global tax regime has also changed. Certain countries are tax havens, certain countries are highly taxed countries. These are the balances, okay, and that affects the valuation. And there is a inter-country transactions. Way forward. Identify which global economic factors are relevant and extent and their weightage. We have to work out. Check whether economic shifts affect capex or revenue, capital expenditure or revenue. Because that definitely, that fellow has taken higher, charged higher tariff. Cost has increased. Very simple. Okay. Include suitable adjustments in the valuation as per impact. Valuation reports should state the economic factors that are considered, explain the impact of factors at this briefly, and present both base value and effective value wherever possible. Okay? That's it. It's a dynamic field. Okay? It's not just a one figure opinion. Sometimes you are confused that it's a range. But again, the user will ask, give me one value only. Okay. That is where you are asking. So, disclaimer, lastly, yes. Then present both base case and not just disclosure, clearly displayed. Yes, the user of valuation have to keep into account whatever assumptions I have made and all these things. If small change in assumption will change the value. Okay? This is what the disclaimer I have to give. And if I have made the presentation, somebody might have gained or not gained or somebody misguided, okay, then I am also placing the disclaimer that yes, these are my personal opinions. Whoever is the user, he has to take the advice of others or discuss with me. Okay? Good. Thank you very much. Now, any questions are there? I will do.
Will your have any role in NLCP, National Law Committee?
NCLT, I am
Please, we can have 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर प्रेजेंटेशन। मेरा जो क्वेश्चन है वो प्रेजेंट सिनारियो से है। वी हैव लॉट ऑफ innovations in environments and pollutions. Lot of work is going on. Government is also emphasizing. You have also emphasized it. But still, we are failure to control the environment and facing the disaster in a huge way. What is the remedy of it?
ભગવાનને blame કરવું પડે. કારણ કે environment ઘણું બધું change થતું રહે છે આપણા control માં છે નહીં. બરાબર છે? આપણે જે આવે એ fix કરવાનું અને પછી જેમ જેમ આગળ જવાય એમ જવાનું. લાસ્ટ યર બરોડામાં ફ્લડ આવ્યું, કોના કંટ્રોલમાં હતું મને કહો? જેના કંટ્રોલમાં હતું એને છોડી દીધું. See, we all know, but don't speak openly. That is the problem. Okay? આપણા એન્જિનિયર હતા ખરું આ. એટલે આને ક્યાં રોકશો તમે? પછી આપણે ભગવાનને જ ભજન કરવું પડે. શું કરવું?
But still we have to innovate and implement.
That's you are right, absolutely right.
देखिए, we are increasing our renewable energy, so and so. But we are not emphasizing कच्छ में भी आपने described कि कच्छ में किया. But we have lot of locations where it is need, but we are not going for that. That's my question.
You are right, absolutely right. અને બેસ્ટ એક્ઝામ્પલ એટલે તમે જોડેલા.
Yeah, of course.
કેટલા લોકોએ પૈસા શું કેમ બધાના મને કોઈ એક જણા ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ કરી દો એટલે મારા દીદીનો અમારા કાઉન્સિલ મેમ્બર જ છે પાછો. મને પૂછે કે તમે ધોલારાનું શું કે મારા ત્યાં ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ લાગે છે એટલું પૂછે. તો કહે છે કે આ મારું ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ છે યાર જમીન રોકેલી છે. મેં કોઈ જઈને શોધીએ કે ક્યાં ખીટા મારે લાગે.
आपको तो रेलवे भी जाने की
હા આ છે ફેક્ટ. એટલે મેં બધું ભૂલી જ જાય કે આની વેલ્યુ છે કે
और रेलवे वहाँ फेल हो जाएगी.
anyway, we are not here to discuss all these things. Any technical questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm posing hypothetical question only. You have talked about Dharavi project. I'm just asking you, because of global warming, now the fate of Mumbai is very bad, you know. In that case, what will be the valuation? Is that point which should be considered or not?
I have already told the same to you. That okay? We have to be about that issue.
Right, sir.
Okay? Today I don't have answers, but next time when I come, I may bring with some valuation process.
We'll not be able to take more questions. You can write to R.K. Patel. You can share your email ID.
Yes.
And before we conclude, I'll request Harani Sahab to say a few words.
Dr. Satish Kumar Joshi, Dr. R.K. Patel, keynote speaker, having wide experience, Engineer Kevut Thakkar, Chairman I and patron member of SP, Engineer SP Trivedi, EC members of SP, all members of SP and Institute of Engineers. SP and I thanks to Dr. R.K. Patel for valuable talks on valuation as practice area and opportunities in transformative area. Thanks to all SP and I members for attending the evening talk and taken keen interest on the subject. Dr. R.K. Patel talked about definition of valuers, valuation, importance, how to become valuer, opportunities, cost, companies, etc. I thank to I for arrangement of this beautiful hour. Thanks to Ms. Pranjal for nice anchoring, and thanks to the secretary for delicious dinner which we will take. Now please stand up for the income. Sorry sir, please 1 minute.
I would request KU sir or Satish sir to kindly do the honor of facilitation to R.K. Patel sir with the certificate of appreciation. I would request everyone to stand up for the national anthem.